Man, what's good, YouTube? I'm gonna be real. I already recorded this, uh, but I wanted to trim the intro because it showed in the video like G-force. But I mean, to be real, the video was like 20 minutes long, so I guess we could shorten it. But nonetheless, let's get straight into it. How to backtest? You've seen the title. Let's go. Um, so this is my personal way of backtesting. This is what I found works for me. Everyone's way of backtesting is different. Figure out what works for you and execute on it. So, whilst backtesting, of course. But nonetheless, there are a multitude of ways to backtest. I'll show you three. Typically, this is the approach people like to take. They go to google.com. Yes, I do type Google in Google. I do type google.com and google.com. Nonetheless, FX replay. If you guys haven't heard of this, and if you guys do not know what backtesting is going in and practicing and plotting out your trade strategy in order to gain more confidence while executing on it in the live market. There is backtesting, which is going in on past price action data, such as this, and plotting it out, your trade positions and whatnot. And then there's forward testing, which is actually going on a demo account and plotting out trade or executing on trade positions, or plotting them out whilst market is live and active. Typically, you wouldn't actually place the position; you would just plot it out and see what happens. That would be forward testing. Yeah, but for me, I actually execute on the trade if I am forward testing. Nonetheless, this is FX Replay. If you guys don't know what FX Replay is, basically says right there, backtesting software. I don't think it's the best. I genuinely think it's the worst. I hate FX Replay. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but check it out if you may like it. It is a paid software. No, I am not affiliated. I never will be affiliated. Never want to be affiliated. I despise FX Replay. Why? I have an account. It is literally the worst thing ever. TradingView is even better. Oh, but Lonnie, you can place your position on it, and and whatnot, and it shows you your profit target and the economic calendar. And guess what? Forex Factory does that too. Nonetheless, that's FX Replay. If you're curious, look into it. Look at a few videos. And nonetheless, now let's get into two ways I like to backtest. I'll show you one. This is the main way of me just getting an understanding to execute on my actual trade setups. Like I said, I already recorded this video, so I already have stuff plotted on them. But nonetheless, and this is my personal backtesting, by the way. I've been up since like 5 a.m. Typically, my own personal backtesting ranges, I'll wake up at 5, get straight to work until maybe 12, around 1 to 2 p.m. until then I go get lunch. And I typically just backtest all morning if I'm not trading, or go in, get an understanding of the market, and then go straight to backtesting. But if I'm trading, then I'll trade for the first 2 hours of my session, which is from 5:30 to 7:30. Looking for execution, and then go in, journal, recap, do whatever I need to do, right? So nonetheless, let's get into this. I got off topic. So, something I like to do personally, and if you want, you can do this too. I find it a little more engaging. I would write down on a piece of paper. You have to have a pen and paper for this. The total amount of times you want to backtest, whether that's 5 times, which you won't get an understanding, 20 times, which I still think you won't get an understanding. Typically, I like to backtest around 500 times. Well, plotting out the move 500 to 1,000 times. It sounds crazy, but sometimes you have to be crazy in order to get an understanding of what you want. There's only 2 ways people learn: the hard way and the harder way. I have found that, me personally, I only learn the hardest possible way. So I have to put myself through a more amount of extensive work in order to get an understanding in my head to not do something that I shouldn't be doing. Nonetheless, so I would get a total amount. So I'll actually do an example right here. I'll get a total amount. So let's say I'm going to backtest 100 times. and then I'll split it into 4 categories, or actually however many categories you want. So typically I'll do daily time frame, H4, and you would write this down on pen and paper too. I'm just doing it on this for ease. H1, and then let's say your execution time frame, which is 5 minutes. And you'd go in, you would divide 100 by 4. Why? Because you're splitting it between 4 different time frames. So you do 25 for each. And when you plot out, let's say you're like me and you execute on liquidity sweep break structure, you would go in and plot it out. Okay, bam. Came up here, swept highs. Actually, you swept weekly highs, but whatever for this circumstance, this example. Bam, came, swept highs, bam, broke structure to the downside. And you would do that however many times, and you would get a tally for that. Let's say you do it 5 times, you plot it out 5 times, bam, bam, and then 25, look, like that, bam. Then once you're done with daily, you move on to 4 hour, plot out the same thing on 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minute, exact same thing. Nothing changes. So the example in 5 minute, going here. It's NFP today. We will do here. Trade I took yesterday to the downside. Bam. Liquidity sweep. Bam. Break structure right here. Entry. It's right on this 5 minute break structure. Stops here within this 15 minute fair value gap. And note, right now I'm adding the fair value gap to the example. Typically, you would just do whatever you execute on. But let's say you do include the fair value gap, then you would include that as well. Fair value gap, and whatever. With this example, you would not place, if you guys do like placing the profit position thingy on this example, you wouldn't be doing that. All you're doing is going in and plotting it out. You don't even actually have to do the labels like I did. You would just go in, bam, quick sweep. 5 minute break structure was here, but we'll just plot 15 for this example. Or even right here, okay, 15, bam, break structure to the upside. It was actually here, but I guess you can plot it here, whatever. It's kind of janky. You're trading against trend. Nonetheless, another example here, just bam, bam, structure here, and you kind of get the point. Liquidity sweep here, bam, bam, until you get an understanding of simply seeing your trade entry. The only reason why you're doing this is to get the ability in order to see your trade entry on whatever time frame it may be. Typically you would want to see it on all the top-down analysis time frames, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and then whatever execution time frames, whether you execute 1 minute, 3 minute, 15, 5, 30. 30 is weird. I personally think. Nonetheless, you get that point. Now, to the main backtesting. This is typically where I see the most improvement and where I see the most development within my trading. I'm so happy NFP pushed price down today because we're breaking structure to the downside, meaning Monday we could possibly see that bearish move to continue to the downside unless price reacts off this order block, which if you guys can see, you guys can see. If you guys can't, then you need to learn what an order block is so you can see even with my messy chart. Nonetheless, let's get into it. So you can see right here, these positions are a lot more detailed. So I'll go from top-down analysis, and note, I don't know if I said it here, but this example, you will not be doing top-down analysis. All you're doing is going on one time frame, focusing on one time frame at a time, applying the move out. That's it. So you do 25 liquidity break structures on daily, plot that out all throughout daily, cool, and go in, do the same thing all over again on 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minute, or 1 minute, or whatever, right? That's it. But this back testing is a lot more in depth, so where you're placing the position, you're just checking your average risk reward, your average R multiple, where you're learning, okay, should I set multiple take profits? Even something I like to go to the extent of is calculator, and I like to calculate my profits sometimes. You know, I like to go in, for example, and go in and see, okay, like let's say I was $2,000 on this trade and I have multitude of take profits. And let's say first TP is, and note for this trade, when I actually took it, I did not use multiple take profits. I just started backtesting multiple take profits. To be honest, I really like it. I like the aspect of the consistency of having multiple take profits. It's very comforting. So let's say you do have 2 take profits on this, take half your position off on each take profit. Note, my math may be screwed up. I cannot do math. I just failed it, by the way. Not that you guys care, but I just failed math, algebra 2B. It's horrible. Nonetheless, say first TP, you're getting $2,000, taking off half your position, letting the rest ride, and I really don't think this is accurate, because I don't think you would be making more than, is the math mathing? If you risk $2,000, this is $7,000 profit. How do we come up with 8.6? Nonetheless, you get the gist. You get the point. So let's do an example for this way I like to backtest. And for this, you want to do more quality instead of quantity. On the other example, you could go in and plot it out 1,000 times. That's why I said typically I like to plot out from 500 to 1,000 times within one day. That'll typically take you maybe 4 hours. Yeah, 4 hours, 5 hours. But, you know, you have to go to that extent sometimes in order to get what you want. You know, if you want to be able to have an eye for your strategy, eye for the market, and be able to be consistent. Even right here, my strategy, not my strategy, my setup just appear right here. Bam. Quick sweep. Break a structure. Actually, break structure was up here, but nonetheless, you get the point. You have to be able to go in and be able to see your setup practically immediately. And then bam, that would have been my setup right there. I'm showing a different time frame. Looks a lot different. On a different time frame, this would be an execution for me right now as we speak, actually. Bam. Fair value gap retracement. And 15-minute break of structure in 16 seconds. And no, I'm not entering on this, but you know, just an example. Nonetheless, that was actually a really good example right there. I mean, obviously you would do more top-down analysis, so typically go like this. Bam, you look at daily. What are we doing daily? Bam, broke structure to the downside. Okay, cool. 4 hour. What are we doing? Okay. 4 hour fair value gap retracement. Okay, so 4 hours selling fair value gap retracement, meaning we have our bias link for sales, right? Going hourly. Okay, what do we see? What's happening on hourly? Nothing crazy. Came out, took out highs, broke structure back to the downside. Liquidity was resting above these highs. Okay, now what? Seen the hourly break structure to the downside. I will do this one. Yeah. Okay, now we go on our execution time frame. 5 minute. Okay. No, this was NFP, but let's say there wasn't NFP and markets just did that normally. Go right here. Bam, what did price do? Came up, took out these highs, liquidity. And with plotting it out on a macro time frame, you start to get an eye for it on a micro time frame, seeing that it really does apply. Even if it's just like a pip above, that still counts the liquidity sweep or whatever your strategy is, right? 5 minute, okay, cool. Let's say just on this candlestick we broke structure, which we did. Solani's always right. Choking is only right like some of the time. And that's where your entry would be. Bam, your stop loss. For me, I like to have a set stop loss. Everyone is different. But wherever your stop loss would be, and then your profit targets, let's say take profit 1 is here, and then take profit 2, and then take profit 3. So you would take 33% of your position off at each take profit. Okay, that is not okay. Thank you very much. And then you can also have what TGR Trades likes to call extendo clip take profits, which are like crazy take profits. But how you actually set your take profits, you go in on whatever time frame you're executing on. So remember, this was an hourly trade. You could target hourly lows, because it's an hourly trade. You're just getting a sniper entry, right? And then that's when you would go in and do whatever you do, nonetheless. And you would go in and plot that a few more times until you're able to get an understanding for how you would want your trades to look. And typically, what I would do and what I do, it's not the right week. Bam. I'll have Forex Factory open too, and with this, you will execute during your trading session. With the other example, you could just plot any. It does not matter. You don't need to, oh, if I execute on New York Stock Exchange market open at 9:30 a.m., I gotta go in and plot it only on 9:30 on the other example I showed. No, those you can plot out anytime. Just get an understanding of how to plot it out. This, you do plot it out during your trading session. So for example, for me, 5:30 NFP, I would go in and plot it out during my trading session from 5:30 to 8:30. Nonetheless, yeah, and I'm on Pacific Coast time, PST, Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, nonetheless, you would go and plot that a few more times. But this one is definitely more quality over quantity. You want to make sure these setups that you're plotting out are actually good setups and setups that you would take within your regular trading day. Of course, everyone is different whilst they're backtesting compared to actually trading, so remember that. But apart from that, let me know if you guys like these videos without my beautiful, gorgeous face in the frame. Some of you are probably complaining that my face isn't there. But nonetheless, hopefully that I kind of wanted to make it quick. Hopefully that gives you guys an understanding. If you guys still don't have an understanding, join the Discord or hit me up on Instagram or DM me on Discord, and I will get back to you and help you guys out. But apart from that, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I need to figure out how do you end this recording. I don't record. Oh, that's how you do. I don't record on this thingy. Nonetheless, I love you guys. Continue to go kill the market and backtest. Do the work no one else wants to do, because remember, there's someone out there outworking you right now. And shoot, it may just be me. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Peace.